Welcome to Mini Stories, where we will be listening to the story A Match Made in the Kitchen. I always thought the kitchen was my sanctuary, the one place where everything made sense. There was something magical about transforming simple ingredients into something extraordinary, something that could bring a smile to someone's face or comfort them after a hard day. But I never expected that the kitchen would also be where I'd find the greatest love of my life and uncover the secrets of my past. The first time I met Ethan, he walked into the restaurant's kitchen like he owned the place. Tall, dark-haired, and annoyingly smug, he wore a tailored suit that screamed money, not of food service. "You're not supposed to be here," I said, chopping onions with the precision of a surgeon. "No suits in the kitchen." He smirked, leaning casually against the counter. "I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Word is, our new head chef is a culinary genius." I rolled my eyes. "Flattery doesn't get you free food, Mr. Suit." He laughed, a deep, warm sound that made my cheeks flush despite myself. "Noted. But seriously, I'm Ethan." I didn't bother giving him my name. I had work to do, and I didn't need distractions, especially not from some random guy who clearly didn't belong in my world. Over the next few weeks, though, Ethan kept showing up. He was always around, whether it was lingering at the bar during my dinner rush or sneaking into the kitchen under the guise of quality control. He claimed to be a consultant for the restaurant, but something about him didn't add up. Despite my initial annoyance, Ethan had a way of getting under my skin. He'd linger after hours, helping me clean up or taste testing new recipes. He had an infuriatingly good palate and a knack for making me laugh when I was too stressed to see straight. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, I found him waiting for me outside the restaurant. "Come on," he said, holding out his hand. "You need a break." I hesitated, but something in his eyes made me trust him. We ended up at a little street food stand by the harbor eating greasy tacos and talking about everything and nothing. "I don't get it," I said, leaning against the railing overlooking the water. "You're always here, but you don't seem like a food guy." He looked at me, his expression softening. "Maybe I just like being around you." My heart skipped a beat, but I laughed it off. "You're ridiculous." "I'm serious, Emma." His voice was quieter now, more vulnerable. "You have this way of lighting up a room, of making something as simple as a meal feel special. I don't want to miss a second of it." I didn't know what to say. No one had ever looked at me the way he did, like I was the most important person in the world. It wasn't until months later that I found out Ethan wasn't just a consultant. He was the owner of the restaurant, my boss. I discovered it by accident, overhearing a conversation between him and another investor. At first, I was furious. "You lied to me." I confronted him after the dinner rush. "I didn't lie," he said, looking genuinely apologetic. "I just didn't tell you everything." "That's the same thing." I snapped. "Why hide it?" "Because I didn't want you to see me as just some rich guy running a business," he admitted. "I wanted you to see me for me." His words disarmed me, but I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. "You should have trusted me." "I know," he said, stepping closer. "And I'm sorry. But I meant every word I said about you, Emma. You're the reason this place feels alive. You're the reason I can't stay away." The intensity in his gaze was too much, and before I knew it, his lips were on mine. It was soft at first, almost tentative, but then it deepened, his hands cradling my face as if I were something precious. Just as I was starting to let my walls down, life threw another curveball. A private investigator showed up at the restaurant, claiming I was the long-lost daughter of one of the richest person in the country. I thought it was a scam until they showed me old photos, pictures of a little girl who looked exactly like me. It turned out I'd been abducted as a child and raised by people who weren't my biological parents. My real family had been searching for me for over 20 years. The revelation turned my world upside down. Suddenly, I wasn't just Emma, the chef trying to make a name for herself. I was Amelia Donovan, heiress to an empire. And Ethan? He'd known all along. "My family and yours arranged our engagement when we were kids," he confessed one night, his voice heavy with emotion. "When you disappeared, it broke them, and me. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my heart breaking all over again. Because I didn't want to pressure you, he said. I wanted you to choose me for who I am, not because of some old promise. Despite the whirlwind of revelations, I couldn't deny what I felt for Ethan. He'd been by my side through everything, not because of who I was supposed to be, but because of who I was. One night, as we stood in the empty kitchen, he took my hands in his. I loved you then, and I love you now, he said. No matter who you are or where you come from, you're still the woman who makes my world brighter. Tears filled my eyes as I looked at him. And you're still the infuriating man who can't stay out of my kitchen. He laughed, pulling me into his arms. From that moment on, we faced the future together, not as a chef and her boss, or as childhood fiancés reunited, but as two people who had finally found their way home. The end. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, like, comment, share and subscribe.